I wanted to do a bit of pushback at the very confident and sometimes not very well informed new atheist sense that the whole thing is an open shut case, and any sensible person with their head screwed on must now be an unbeliever. But it seems to me that the atheist argument with religion is actually happening at the wrong address. It's constantly trying to treat religion as a form of dodgy second grade science, a bunch of propositions about the universe which you can just prove aren't factually true, which is so far away from the lived experience of religion that the two worlds hardly touch. So what I wanted Unapologetic to do, not a work of apologetics, because I'm not defending the ideas, also unapologetic because I'm really not sorry and don't feel like apologizing for it. What I wanted it to do was to build a bridge of experience back to where readers are who are not themselves religious. I don't want to make them religious either. It's not supposed to be a proselytizing book. It's supposed to be a book which does what books do when they work right, which is to expand people's range of sympathies, which makes it possible to understand and recognize that what's going on inside this peculiar box marked religion is actually rather human and ordinary. And even if you don't share it, it kind of makes emotional sense. I would like to make religion less mysterious, apart of course from the bits which are so mysterious that you can't do that to them. But the other bits, I'd like to demystify them, please. From the point of view of writing, what I was trying to do was to come up with something with the force and crackle of early 19th century essays. I wanted it to read the way that it would have come out if someone like Hazlitt, who would never in a million years have defended the Church of England, but let's suppose he did, had set out to write a long, lively, sinewy exploration of a set of religious experiences. Maybe Coleridge would have done it. I wanted something which was non-fictional and engaged with the world, but which was also using the language of ordinary experience, the language of poetry, something that was eager to describe whatever it could lay its hands on. I wanted it to make the experience of religion happen on the page in a way that other religious people would recognize, but which would provide a kind of transporting virtual experience of it for unreligious readers. I wanted you to know what it was like to be inside my head, and to get the view from here as well when you were reading it. And then later you can leave my head. The object is not to install you permanently with the disastrous memes of religion. It is supposed to make you see, to help you see that actually religion works on the same ground, through the same tissue, through the same imaginative flow as the rest of living. I don't see my religion as being some kind of deal to do with avoiding death. I never have done. And in this, I'm surprisingly orthodox, because there are lots of ways that you can take the central Christian message. And one perfectly orthodox one is to see it as being a promise about life now and about ways we can live better with the destructive, deathly, damaging bits of our own pasts. I am not somebody who expects to be playing a harp as the stars burn out one by one. I'm not even sure I would like that. And so when people talk about religion as if it was, what's that beautiful but wrong Philip Larkin description of it, as a vast moth-eaten musical brocade created to pretend that no one ever dies, I just think, Phil, no, because the attraction of religion for me is that it's very honest about people dying. It's very honest about suffering too. Every now and again, you get somebody saying, what kind of a religion puts an instrument of torture up there as its logo? And as if we put the crosses up there because we kind of admired crucifixion. And the short answer is one that takes suffering seriously. Religious people, real religious people, as opposed to the conjectural idiots that you get in atheist fantasies, do not deny the existence of death. We do not think we're going to be whisked off to a magic kingdom in the sky. Our conversation with God is largely about this world and this life and how it might be loved better with our eyes open, with a lively interest in everything that happens and no denial of any kind, any of the little bits of human nature, which actually I think the rest of our culture is not very good at acknowledging. Writing the gospel story again is probably the most presumptuous thing I have done in my career as a writer. It certainly felt most strange to be doing it. There is a tradition. Writers have been doing versions of it, kind of para-scriptural things for 2,000 years now. I rather like Dorothy L. Sayers' one, The Man Who Would Be King. And there's a way in which it has to be retold and reinvented for every generation, for every moment even, because the point of it, if you're a Christian, is that it's about the love of eternity for the productions of time, not my phrase. It's about the way in which something divine and permanent and generous enters ordinary human life. What ordinary human life is in terms of mood and texture changes, and what I wanted to do was to create a reminder of our recognizable human lives and then show the strangeness and unearthliness of that being suffused with something else, something making ridiculous, impossible demands to do with love and forgiveness. Something both wise and very foolish in human terms. That's a very difficult question to answer. Every time I have been pleased as a writer in how I found a way to convey something, to wrap something up in words in a way that I hope will communicate, I have also been conscious that what I have produced is a pathetically inadequate pencil sketch of the object in view. It has been a lesson in not mistaking your descriptions for the things you're trying to describe. I can feel quite smug as a writer about some of the things I came up with to do, and quite inadequate as a believer, and quite conscious of the kind of the daft temerity of trying to do something like this. But there's a case for taking on projects requiring daft temerity, just as there's a case, if you're a Christian, for trying to do impossible things, to do with loving your enemies, etc. Because now and again trying the impossible brings you bits of possibility you didn't know were there as well. I would be glad if the book were found useful to people who wanted to understand how this bit of the world works a bit better. I would be glad if my fellow believers were able to recognize their own experience in it, and I kind of hope it makes people laugh as well.